Welcome to Spiritology. A sacred space. Providing holistic, universal guidance wherever you are on your journey. Whether your beliefs are scientific and believe that our creation is a result of the Big Bang, or whether you have religious beliefs that we were created by God, or that God or Goddess is any other name. Out of darkness, out of nothing, out of chaos, became order. Out of darkness became light. And just as the sun has rays of light that are provided for all of us as inhabitants of Earth, Mother Earth, this divine, pure white light is symbolic of the collective consciousness. That life force energy, light energy, from where we all were created. As our consciousness evolves, we recognize that deep connection to that divine light through love. As our consciousness expands, we become more aware of the duality of the human and of the being. The human of the doing and the being, the very essence of you. The being is always pure, of love and of light. The human aspects, the obstacles, the situationships, the relationships, they all offer an opportunity, an opportunity to make a choice. The choices we make should never be judged by another. The choices we make should be only judged by ourselves at the highest level of consciousness possible. Through this judgment, we begin to identify the parts of us that are aligned with our being as a human, and the parts of us that are not. We all live on the same planet, yet we are all having very, very different experiences. But ultimately, these experiences are sometimes things that can help others, and sometimes what someone is thinking is helping is teaching the other person a lesson. And very often that can be the biggest blessing. The human side of us has got a challenge. The ego, aka suffering. But just as the ego can be our biggest downfall, it can also be our biggest springboard. Because when we embrace all aspects of self and make those small motions forward, baby steps I like to say, your physical existence begins to align with your spiritual existence. And there we discover strength of will, which gives us purpose. And through this action and doing as a human, together with the divine union of life force, light energy, we can be the essence of our true selves. This isn't an easy journey. And everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants to be eternally happy. But we also have to know that with happiness there is also sadness. And we very often go through life experiencing periods of ecstasy where everything is just so wonderful. And that gravitational pull of reality that pulls us down into our human form, our human conditioning, and our belief systems. But through each chapter of our lives, consciousness expands. And we all get to a point where we have a huge awakening. And each awakening becomes more and more powerful. And the closer your human beingness becomes one, that's where the magic happens. We release expectations of others, and we release expectations of ourselves. And we live each day through a new pair of eyes. But we also need to recognise the needs, spiritual and physical. As human beings, we have to live our lives in balance. Balance between reality and ideality. And when we accept that, sometimes it's hard to balance those scales. When things seem to be tipping too much in one direction, and you're spending too much time connecting to the spiritual being and not enough time being in the physical and doing. If you don't pull yourself out of that balance, the universe will do that for you. Because balance is for your greater good. There are so many people currently spending too much time doing, not enough being. And that's when things happen. For us to listen to our soul and realise that you have to stop, pause, recharge and reset. And when you've taken time to consider what your next focus needs to be, you just need to take baby steps towards that. Not focusing on the end result, focusing on now. We choose what to do with this present moment. Do we bring things in from the past? Do we bring thoughts for the future? Or do we just focus on now? In this moment of now, you can be whoever you feel you are. You can be the victim. You can be the victor. Either of these roles are constructed in some way or form by ego. Do you want to reward yourself? Or do you wish to sanction yourself? Or do you just want to sit in the present moment and be a vehicle, allowing life force energy to flow through you? And help to guide you on this soul journey. I invite you to choose to surrender. Sending you lots of love and light.